Hello, my name's Bella Edgley, and on this channel I talk mainly about watercolour. So today I'm going to show how I created these two sets of paintings in my sketchbook. And for the first I just used blue ultramarine and burnt sienna, and for the second I added in yellow ochre, and I did these ones a lot lighter with more sort of lighter layers, so you can see the difference in the way that the two sets of paintings look. And when I do these kinds of paintings in my sketchbook, I do quite like to do them in sets of two, so that I end up with 4 paintings at the end, because what I like to do is take ideas from the first 2 into the second 2, and I think that it just offers a sort of framework for working in your sketchbook. Now, this is what works for me, something else might work for you, but I find it a good thing to do if I don't have an awful lot of time and I just really want to be creative and get some work done and feel like I'm progressing with my watercolour painting. And then what I would do afterwards is I would make a note about the colours that I'd used, and that way I could then look back at them, perhaps if I was wanting to do finished paintings, and get some ideas. But it's also just a really fun thing to do, and it's quite relaxing. And I would say that the basic principle that I'm doing is I'm trying to lay the colours down and leave them. I'm not scrubbing away too much, and I'm allowing the watercolours to move in the way that they want without too much influence from me. But again, I am being quite experimental as well, so you could try something similar with the same colours, or you could try 2 of your own colours and then on the second lot of paintings try adding in another colour. And if you're kind of new to this and you are interested in this kind of painting, then I do have a course called Minimalist Watercolour Landscapes and Beyond, where I talk a bit more about some of the techniques and the colours and the brushes and things you might need to do these kinds of paintings. And I do have a follow-on course from that as well, where I look a bit more at mediums and granulating paints and also painting large. So I'll put the details for both those courses in the description. Okay, so in the first painting I very much concentrated these sort of land masses in the middle of the paper, and for this one I brought the paint up a lot higher. So the 2 paintings did end up looking quite different, but obviously I'm using the same colours, so they very much go together as well. And I am always moving my brush right across the paper. These are landscape inspired, and that sort of horizontal movement does help to create that feeling. So like I said, I do think these kinds of paintings are great if you either don't really know what to do, or if you've just got a small amount of time to fill. You can just grab 2 colours that you think might go well together, and 2 complementary colours is always a good place to start, and just lay the paint down on the paper and then respond to what's happening, and try layering things and changing the edges a bit, and you might be really surprised with the results you get. So if you do decide to give something like this a go, I would really love to hear about it in the comments. I also think that every time you do a painting in your sketchbook, whether it's successful or not, is an opportunity to practice what the paint's going to do and how it's going to behave, so you're always going to be moving forward with your painting. Okay, so I'm going to put the music up and then I'll jump in towards the end. Okay, so this one's basically finished now, and I did just move on to the other one, and I just skipped a little bit where I added a little bit of blue ultramarine on top of that, and I then actually blended the top of that shape. Later I think it would have been nice to have just left that shape without blending the top. But where I'd left the white and then gone back over with the blue ultramarine was really nice, because then you're getting the bright white of the paper behind, and that keeps that colour really pure and bright. So I do quite often leave a little bit of white when I do my paintings, and I either leave it white or I just add a bit of colour on top. So that's what this one would look like if it was framed off into a square. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So when I pulled the tape off, I had a bit of bleed under the tape. And I thought this one would look nice cropped, something like this. I'm just going to do the same to the other paintings. Okay, so like I said, if you've got any questions or comments, then please do put them in the comment section below. I always get back to everyone. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I'm also on Instagram, and I have a newsletter. I'll put the details of all of those in the description. But I hope you found this video useful, and happy painting, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, bye.